Welcome, Maria, to another episode of Just a Spanish Phrase.
The companion podcast of News in Slow Spanish. What expression are we going to discuss today?
Well, sometimes we come in here with not a solid plan per se. We have something in mind, we have some research, and then we just start talking and talking and talking. And often we sound like we're going a little bit crazy, like the conversation is going nowhere. Have you ever felt that way? Like you're going a little bit crazy?
I think those are the best conversations when you don't have a plan and when you flow, you go with the flow.
I think so too. But there's an expression for that. There's an expression for when someone's acting a little irrationally or just a little silly, a little kooky. Well, there's many expressions for that, but
yeah,
there's
cada
one.
loco con su tema, every crazy person with their topic.
That's a good translation of that. There's another one. I'll give you another guess.
Another one for somebody crazy?
Yeah, or not necessarily crazy in a negative way, but even just acting a little silly.
Give me a clue.
Okay. Imagine something that's a complex machine, but one piece is not right.
Oh, I know.
Which one?
Te falta un tornillo.
Ding, 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 ding. That's the expression for today. Faltar un tornillo. Literally, to be missing a screw.
I love it. And what is the origin of that expression?
Okay. So, faltar un tornillo, to be missing a screw, or as our English native speakers listening to this podcast right now might be more familiar with the version that says to have a screw loose.
Okay.
Or in Español, tener un tornillo suelto. Same thing.
It's not missing. It's just a little bit untied.
Right. The screw is still there, but
the
it's
machine
not tight.
Is still broken.
Yes. I guess those are levels of silliness or craziness. We can discuss that in a little bit. Yeah. So the expression works and it's very nuanced. But tener un tornillo suelto o faltar un tornillo, to be missing a screw, is not that ancient. We've had expressions for as long as language has been around to describe this situation, a situation where someone is maybe acting a little off or saying things that seem a little irrational. But this particular expression is not that old.
I thought you were going to say it came from the Bible. I don't know why I was thinking maybe it comes from Jesus,
so many of
the nails
do.
Or something like that.
Oh, wow, you went there. Yeah, no, but we're talking about screws, not nails. So that's different.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And it reveals that this is in fact a little more modern because screws are, unlike nails, a more modern invention. And they really became a common part of our lives as a result of the Industrial Revolution.
Okay.
So 19th century, even very late 18th century, but really it kicks off in Europe and then spreads throughout the rest of the world. The Industrial Revolution made machines and machinery a common day part of our lives. A common part of our everyday lives. Before that, the average person might come into contact with a machine maybe once in a while, maybe never. But post the Industrial Revolution and people moving into cities and the automation of everything, the replacement of horse and carriage with train and later automobile, the mechanization of everyday tasks from farming to processing materials to textiles. That's a really good example. That's one of the first widely adopted mechanized processes is turning cotton or wool into fabrics.
Right? And that revolution, that sparked not only a revolution in language, as you're about to explain, because an expression came from there,
yeah.
But pretty much the entire revolution that we're still living nowadays. There's talking about history, a fascinating documentary on Netflix right now called Turning Point, which explains how the Industrial Revolution started pretty much like the economical movements, because then there was child labor, there was exploitation, and that's what started Marxism, and then communism, capital,
Exactly. It's a chain reaction.
Yes. Exactly. But I guess it also started language expressions. So
and many of them. I mean, we can talk about being a cog in the machine That is something, a very different meaning.
That didn't
Different
exist
expression.
before the Industrial Revolution.
Exactly. So truly a revolution in many ways, changed our economy, changed our way of life. And so now, post the onset of the Industrial Revolution, people are surrounded by machines all the time, and they become familiar with pieces, mechanical pieces, which include steel, cogs, gears, and of course, the thing holding it all together, the screw. So what happens when you're missing a screw in a complex machine that maybe has 100 screws, but one of them goes missing?
You act weird.
Yes.
I have many screws missing.
I
So
like
do
to think
you.
that I do too, yes. I think that's what makes us interesting.
I hope so.
But yes, the machine, literally, if a screw is missing, or as you pointed out earlier, if one of them is not tightened all the way, that means that the pieces are loose, that they might start rattling, that they might start malfunctioning. And so, during the Industrial Revolution, very early on, we start to see mentions of tener un tornillo suelto, or faltar un tornillo, to be missing a screw, as an expression to describe someone who is acting irrationally, saying strange things, or maybe even someone who is quirky or what's a good word for this? It's not.
I don't know, but I'm telling you, if I was working 20 hours a day under factory conditions,
Oh yeah,
not
before those
seeing
laws.
sunlight, not having any protection, seeing accidents happen all the time, I would have many, many more tornillos sueltos. So I wonder what came first, if the expression or the people acting weird because they were exploited.
That is a very good question, because maybe that's maybe the Industrial Revolution also increased the number of people acting a little off.
Exactly. That's my point.
And nowadays we have to be very careful, to respectful of mental illness, which is a delicate subject. We're not talking about we're not labeling people as crazy as often, or as carelessly as we used to a long time ago, or maybe not even that long ago.
Yeah, and I think the expression tener un tornillo suelto doesn't refer to mental health.
Exactly.
It refers to quote unquote normal, what is normal, but functioning people acting weird.
Yes.
Correct?
Or making irrational decisions.
Or when somebody says something strange, it's like, hey, what's up? Te falta un tornillo? Or you need to adjust that screw because you just said something outrageous.
Exactly. So that's the more, I guess, correct or acceptable way to use that expression.
Exactly. Never to make fun of somebody with a health condition.
Oh, absolutely not. And I've definitely heard it used that way a long time ago, and I would advise you against it if you're listening to this right now. But back to the proper use. What are some examples of someone or a group of people who suddenly adopt, something really silly, silly behavior, or
just turn on the TV.
There's no shortage
seriously,
of examples.
do you want a specific example? We've seen examples every day. Just read the headlines.
I'm thinking of one right away.
Tylenol.
Yes. How did
For
you know?
example, it's the most recent one.
Yeah. If you've been living under a rock, or the people in charge of health in this country, United States, RFK Jr. And his panels have decided that Tylenol is linked to autism.
Have decided, because science still doesn't prove it.
Right. There are some studies that have pointed to a possible connection, but usually, this brings up a discussion, and you do the rational thing of studying it further, of convening scientists, professionals, and investigating to find out if this is the thing, instead of just calling for a press conference right away and telling everybody that Tylenol is going to give you autism. Eso tienen un tornillo suelto. To me, that's like having a screw loose.
It does sound like it. Or all the conspiracy theories that float around. That sounds like a little bit. Every conspiracy theory sounds like people behind them have a little bit of a tornillo suelto.
That's right. That's a very good point. And like we said earlier too, it doesn't have to be a totally negative thing. Sometimes people that are quirky, creative,
an,
even
an eccentric
eccentric.
artist.
That was the word I was
Yes.
looking for earlier.
I
Yes.
love it. An eccentric, extravagant artist. People might say, "Oh, this person have a tornillo suelto." I was just listening, reading by Rosa Montero the biographies of tons of women. Many women artists, women writers were accused of having a tornillo suelto back in the day. Like Agatha Christie, for example, she actually, I don't know if you know her story, but she disappeared completely at some point. And people were thinking, is she orchestrating a mystery case around her own life? Like she orchestrates mysteries in her novels?
Was she?
No, apparently she really did lose a screw for a period of time.
Oh.
But that will be a topic for another episode because we ran out of time.
Oh, but I was just thinking of one more thing before
Okay.
we go. Because we were talking about the Industrial Revolution and this expression that came out of there. And because I tengo un tornillo suelto también, and I'm a little eccentric with my thoughts, I was thinking, what do you think 10, 20, 50 years from now we'll be saying about people after the digital revolution? Because now it's not screws and machines, but computers and AI. Do you think we'll have a new expression to talk about people that are a little eccentric and
15 years? Don't worry, we will not exist.
oh, the AIs will take over
Yeah.
for everything?
Yeah.
Maybe you'll have a microchip loose or something.
A microchip lose, or did you lose your, I don't know, your connection to the internet?
Your GPT is loose?
Yeah, without connection to the internet, you're nothing.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait around and find out.
If we're still standing 15 years from now, I hope we will.
Knock on wood.
Knock on
that's
wood.
another expression for another day.
For the next episode. Thank you for joining us in this episode, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.